This is an emotional moment for me. Uh, I I'd like to thank A24 for sending me an accessible screener. Means a lot, actually, considering I almost never get it. Uh, Especially one that I didn't have to like ask for. I didn't have to come back around to. You guys just included the audio description when you sent me your for your consideration screener for the Smashing Machine. Holy shit. That's amazing. Thank you. I love you. So let's talk about the Smashing Machine. I'm John Stark from MacMovieGuy.com, and I'm a blind film critic. And to be fair, I have been sent other A24 screeners, but they were doing sort of like a rollout. So all the rest of them I had already seen, or they were on HBO Max. So this was the first one where I hadn't seen and is not on HBO Max. And so I went to their little screening room, and oh my God, audio description. And I just started playing because the way that I have my setup is usually just defaults. So William Michael Redman and Deluxe on this one. Uh, wow. I'm just blown away. I've had to like jump through hoops. And sometimes people come back around when I like ask for it. I'm like, no, seriously, can I get the audio description track for this movie? I've gotten that a couple times this year where they're like, yeah, if you wait a little, we'll get it to you. Couple movies like Stitchhead and She Rides Shotgun, East of Wall, a couple films like that. The studios have gone out of their way to make sure that I get my audio description, but not initially. A24, I didn't have to contact them or anything. That's a big deal. That means that they just included it on the offside chance that somebody might need it, which is great, because that's really how it should be, because you never know who's going to need it or what they're going to need it for. Or I know we're all critics and it's like, we're all supposed to be watching this, these are screeners, they're for our eyes only. You know that there are people who are like married and they're sitting down with like their husband or wife or partner or whatever, and they're watching the thing together. You don't know that their partner isn't visually impaired and it suddenly affects their whole view, way of life. So the fact that you have audio description there is like life changing. There's many things, many reasons. So it's just good to include it. And yes, I did want to start my review on the Smashing Machine with lauding praise upon A24 for doing the Lord's work here, which is what it shouldn't even be the Lord's work, which should be what everybody's doing. It's just as a critic, I know that not everybody's doing it, and it's rare, very rare, without me having to like follow up on it. To just happen to get it the first time out of the gate. Oh my God. So, yeah. So this is Dwayne Johnson, Emily Blunt, and Ryan Bader. And I do want to mention Ryan because he doesn't get mentioned enough here, but he plays Mark Coleman in this, who is also part of this real life story. He's Mark Kerr's best friend, and he has quite a bit of screen time, and he's really good. I don't know that he's like Academy Award nominee worthy, but the way that this film has been mentioned by every other film critic, you would think there were only two people in this movie. No, there are more people, but they have decidedly even less screen time than Bader does. But Bader's in quite a bit of the movie for somebody to just continue to just not be mentioned. I've seen a couple people go out of their way and be like, actually, I really liked the guy who played Coleman. He felt very real for the role. Yeah, he does. I think he is actually like an MMA fighter. So he very good debut from him, and I hope he continues to do more things. If this is like if I don't know if this is his first film or not, but it's certainly the largest role that I've ever seen from him, and I hope he continues to parlay this into other roles. I know Smashing Machine didn't like set the world on fire, which we're reminded of every 5 seconds when somebody's like, Dwayne Johnson's The Smashing Machine didn't fail at the box office. It's an A24 movie, guys. What did you think it was gonna? Did you? What? Hello. Like it did kind of what other A24 movies do. But it's got Dwayne Johnson, so it failed. That's he can't apparently just do art house movies. So without having the expectation of opening them to $50 million. Um, yeah, so he plays Mark Kerr. It's directed by Benny Safdie. You've heard about this film. It premiered at Venice. He got a massive standing ovation to it. I think Benny Safdie won a directing prize. Um, and then A24 opened it at the end of September. It did not do well. And it's still in the race, though. I argue very much it's still in the race. I recently did my Best Actor update. Well, it depends on how recently I put this actual review out. Um, as of me recording this, I recently did my updated Best Actor, where I still had Dwayne Johnson in, and I've had him in. And there wasn't anything here that made me think that it was going to change. Um, there are critics who are like, well, it's just Dwayne Johnson being Dwayne Johnson. It's like that's lacking nuance. I mean, did you say that about Lady Gaga in Star is Born? Because you know, there was a lot of critical praise being thrown at her there. She had no problem getting into the Best Actress race. She was a favorite to win. I know she didn't, but I mean, she was. It's not like she scraped into the race. So just because I would say Dwayne Johnson is well cast here. That's the thing, is that he's actually of the size of an MMA fighter, and he actually looks like he could be playing this type of role. I know I'm blind, but I was not always blind. I know what Dwayne Johnson looks like. So, not just like conceptually through people having told me what Dwayne Johnson, I actually know what Dwayne Johnson looks like. So, having been a pro wrestler, you know, he's got the body type for it, and he's done enough roles now where his acting chops should be brushed up more. Very few people do we have that could have swapped in for this role that have the kind of, you know, you have maybe like John Cena and Dave Bautista, who both have built up the kind of status behind them that they could have maybe bankrolled the movie and also starred in this role and tried to do it. But I don't know that either one of them would have done it better than this. Because, and we do see a little bit of Kerr at the end, and he does seem to be a lot of what Dwayne is doing, which is a lot of this. He's really affable. He puts on, anytime in public, he always tries to put on this like nice guy, like really likable image thing, which is what Dwayne Johnson does. So it makes more sense to cast him because he kind of feels like a Dwayne Johnson. So it feels like that this is just really great casting to me. Does that mean that Dwayne is doing a bad job and should not be considered? No, he should still be considered for an Oscar because, you know, I mean, if the casting is just perfect casting, even if the person is so close to the actual thing that you're like, you know, when we cast singers to play singers, or you know, I know she didn't get an Oscar nomination, Jennifer Hudson, for Respect, but she did get other award nominations. I mean, was that too close for her? Should all of the awards been like, oh no, this should have been somebody else. We should have had to work for this one. Like, where is Viola Davis? You know? No, I mean, I think people just appreciated that Jennifer Hudson was the right person for that role. So I don't understand really the blowback, this sort of like tepid response from some people on Johnson's role here, just simply because they think it's the easy road. He does a lot here, and it's tough to say that. Mark Kerr goes through sort of like an opioid. Jesus, I don't even know what that first word that I said was. Addiction, and he has. I need to get to Emily Blunt at some point, but he has a girlfriend, partner. I don't know. And he's out there wrestling and, you know, putting his health and everything on the line for money. And this is sort of at the beginning, as the film will remind you at the end. People like Mark Kerr, Mark Coleman were sort of the beginning pioneers for what would go on to be UFC, where the fighters are now well known, making millions of dollars, much like pro wrestlers. The ones that are at the top of their game, they're making tons of money. But somebody had to start. Somebody had to start at the bottom. and they only made like a couple hundred, maybe a couple thousand when they got to the top. And that's where Kerr and Coleman are in this, is that they're making, they're at the top of their game, but they're only making like a couple thousand a match, to fight. So putting themselves out there, getting injured, constantly in pain, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's do I have to talk about Emily Blunt? Are you gonna make me do this? So in general, I liked The Smashing Machine. I did. I picked up what Benny Safdie was doing here. And everything I've talked about so far are the stuff that I liked. Benny Safdie's direction is interesting. It does kind of deviate from the traditional biopic structure, so that you don't feel like you're 100% watching like the traditional biopic. Like I actually saw this after seeing Christie, and Christie also kind of deviates a little bit from it, but has a little bit more of the traditional structure to it. This one kind of definitely deviates and wanders over into so where we're just kind of living the life with Mark Kerr. We're not really we're not looking for his greatest triumph. We're not building to something and making sure we hit the highs and the lows, and he goes back and sees his mom and is like, "Mom, aren't you proud of me?" Like, none of that stuff happens here. So he just is using a real person to tell a story. So it feels just like a normal film that happens to have been a real person. So, and less of a biopic about Mark Kerr, and more just like, this could be anybody. He could have picked any beginning, like he could have flipped the story and made the film about Coleman and made Kerr the supporting player to Coleman and done a movie about him. And it would have played the exact same way, just with like, beats that made sense to Coleman's story instead of Kerr's. God damn it, I have to talk Emily Blunt, don't I? And then there's Emily Blunt, who I adore. I adore Emily Blunt. And it's not that she's bad in this movie, but every problem that I have with this movie lies in her character and the way that her character is utilized. And I would love to hear from women on the Bechdel test on this character, because this character feels like it has no personality. It has no personality. It just comes in and goes. That it is like some sort of like reflective tool for Mark at the time. It's hard to follow sort of where she's at any given time in terms of her like, she's incredibly contradictory as a character and goes through all these different things, but we never get to really explore anything about her and learn anything specific about who she is. She's easily the second biggest role in the movie, but anything we ever see her through is always in conjunction with something that Mark Kerr's going through. It's never something that she's going through. She doesn't have her own story. She has no independence. She has no personality. She has no past. She has no future. She has no job. She has, you know what I'm saying? Like, she has no friends. She has no family. She's just this thing that exists that rotates around Mark Kerr. And so when Smashing Machine isn't in my top 25 of the year, which it won't be, you need to know that it has a lot to do with Benny Safdie's inability to coherently direct this character in any sort of forward direction. I wish he had left her out. If she was not in the film at all, top 10. Like, if this film was just Mark Kerr experiencing this stuff by himself, just with no love interest at all, top 10 film. Loved it. 10 out of 10. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything else. Every time she comes into the film, he looks incompetent as a director. And the script is clearly underwhelming because she has nothing to do except react to him. She'll come in one scene and she'll feel like she's one character, and then you'll see her like in the next scene she feels like she's a completely different character. because she doesn't have any connective tissue or thread. Nothing is ever given to her. She's never given a real personality. She is whatever the scene needs her to be at that time. Actually, Ryan Bader's Coleman is more cohesive of a character with more of an arc than she is. She is the most random thing I've seen this year. She's just all over. Her character is just whatever, like all the time. Sometimes she's really concerned for him and his drug overdose and abuse. And then other times she's like flying off the handle herself. She feels, and it feels like Emily Blunt is struggling to keep up with this character. And I wonder why she took this role, because it is such a, is such a terrible role for her. It is such a terrible role for women in general. Like, this should be a first-time actress who didn't know any better. This should be somebody who was like, I'm just happy to be opposite The Rock in a movie. Thank you for this opportunity to be in this. Like, every actress in Hollywood should have looked at the script and been like, fuck you. What is this? Get this garbage roll away from me. On behalf of women, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that this exists. So I am deeply concerned at Benny Safdie's ability to direct women. I've been a little concerned at Scorsese because he tends to avoid directing a female lead. I was reminded through his Mr. Scorsese on Apple that he does have Alice Doesn't Live Here, but he really does kind of dodge the female lead a lot. And it made me uncomfortable during Killers of the Flower Moon, where Lily Gladstone clearly should have been the lead of the film, but wasn't. Here, though, this is like a whole new level. This is Benny Safdie is like, what are you even doing, sir? What is this thing that you're doing with this character? And she's a real person, too. She and Mark were married at some point and have a kid. So I feel like I'm insulting this actual person out there. I mean, if you feel like you were seen on this screen, then sure. You suck as a person. Like, as a human being, you flow through life with no purpose. You have no personality. You are just a mirror to whatever Mark Hurd needs you to be in that moment. That is the whole thing. You are a plot device. You are just there as scenery and nothing more. You're there to bounce lines off of him. You're there so he's not talking to a wall. That is what she feels like in this film. It is the most bizarre thing. And Emily Blunt tries so hard to make something out of this role, but it's such a weird role. It is such a weird role that has nothing to it. There's zero in this role, except sometimes she gets to be rangy because it is a fly off the handle scene, right? There's a scene that just all of a sudden she's like, I'm suicidal now. It's like, but why? I know nothing about you. You have so much to live for, I think. Maybe you do. Do you have friends? Do you have family? Do you want kids? Can I know anything about you? Where did you grow up? What were your hopes and dreams? Literally, one of the most underwritten characters, possibly the most underwritten character based on screen time this year, is in this film. So for all of the people who have been like, I don't know, this Smashing Machine, it's not going to be a play for Emily Blunt unless people are, I don't know. I'm deeply concerned if anybody votes for Emily Blunt. They're not women. No woman is voting for Emily Blunt. There are zero women are going to look at this film and go, I feel seen. I'm so happy to not be known as a human being and to just be seen as this object with no purpose or personality or future, past history or anything. Thank you so much. Nobody's ever seen me like that before. It's not happening. Yeah, her character is DOA. Stop campaigning. You failed. This movie failed it. But Dwayne's really good. And actually, so is Ryan Bader. And I like the rest of the movie. But oh my God, Benny Safdie cannot direct or write women or whatever he's doing here. Just abysmal. And I know the argument is, well, it's not her biopic. Jesus Christ, though. I mean, there's an argument to be made for co-leads, for like the second biggest character. We should know something. fucking something about them other than I like the lead character. Like, I experience what the lead character experiences. Do you see my similarities? I have addiction problems too. He has them, I have them. That's why I'm here. It's like, but what makes you you? Why are you you? Let me get this smashing machine. I need to talk about the audio description first. So, William Michael Redman, audio description is really well written, as much as it can be. There are some scenes where a lot's happening, there's a lot of talking, and they can't put in, because that's the only, it's not going to be, like, I appreciate the audio description, but when I actually look at the audio description track, I can't be like, oh, this should win an award for excellence in audio description. It is doing what it's supposed to do functionally as much as it can. But unfortunately, like the fight sequences, they're shown as like MMA fights where there's like an announcer. So a lot of the visual context that you would want in those sequences is given by, like if you're listening to a wrestling match on TV, right? And there was no, it's like that, like, oh no, he comes in with the, oh, wow, Mark Kerr, look at him, look at what he's doing. And it's like, I don't know what he's doing. Thanks. So, yeah, there are some times where but there's nothing you can do. The audio description can't talk on top of that. So, functionally, yeah, it did as much as it possibly could. I love William Michael Redman. He's one of my favorite narrators. I'm friends with a lot, so I don't ever want to actually list who the top 10 would be, but I feel like I would definitely give him a top 10 spot. If I just decided who got work, he would get a lot of work. He would not have gotten this film. I don't think he's the right narrator for The Smashing Machine. This is a drama. It's nothing. His voice lends itself a lot more to horror, thriller, and action. This is none of those. This needed a much more flat, but dramatic, somebody who understood the weight of what it is. It's not that he doesn't understand the weight. His voice is just, it's too gritty. I needed somebody with a warmth in the voice for a lot of these sequences. Something like a Jedediah Barton, or Darren Polish, Tansy Alexander. So one of those people that I would throw on this film. So Adrian Barbeau, somebody like that. So not Redman. But yeah, so now I'm gonna grade the movie. Man, I think like the Emily Blunt of it all lost it like a full point. But from where it would have been. But I'd really like Dwayne Johnson in this. I can't really do anything else with that. I definitely can't give Benny Safdie directing props, because while I think parts of this are well directed, the fact that he's also directing Emily Blunt's performance makes him more likely to be one of the worst directors of the year. That he can't figure out. He needs to sit down with women and they need to go over the Bechdel test and have him figure out whether or not he is actually supporting strong female roles at all. Because this cannot possibly be it. Anyway, I'm going to give it a 7.7 out of 10. And I wanted to go higher because chunks of this I really liked. I love his performance in it. I love Ryan Bader's performance in this. But, yep. Not voting for Emily Blunt anywhere. So, and it's not her fault. Although it kind of is, because she said yes to the role. Girl, you deserve better. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I'll see you guys on the other side.